let us turn our attention to the inimitable, the vivacious Clementine Mosimane, who joins me this morning in studio. Now, The Long Journey of Poppie Nongena is a classic piece of South African literature. It's taken about 40 years for Elsa Joubert's novel to make it to the big screen. It's the true story of a South African Xhosa mother whose life revolves around finding stability for her family during a period of insufferable upheaval in the country. That's the pretty verbiage. The bottom line is the devastating past laws upend her life. She's a domestic worker whose life is upended by the devastating past laws and is constantly trying to get back to home, and home being where the heart is, not where the house is offered. Good morning, Clementine Mosimane. Welcome to Breakfast with Refilwe.
Good morning, Refilwe, and I'm so humbled to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
It's an honor. So first of all, I must congratulate you. Poppie Nongena is already an award-winning film, winning 12 awards at the Silver Scarum Film Festival, and one of those, of course, was for Best Actor for you.
Yes,
congratulations on that.
Thank you so much, Refilwe.
For anyone who's not aware, you're no stranger to awards. You've won the Golden Horn as Best Actress in a soapy, TV soap,
yes.
And we've seen you in Soul City, amongst others. Tell me, when you look at what's already occurred with Poppie Nongena, how does this compare to other characters that you've played?
Yeah, Poppie Nongena, because she is a real person, a real South African icon, a real woman of hope, a real woman that was faced with this horrible, horrible system of South Africa. For her to be having a work permit to be working in her madam's home, that was for me humbling, and that was for me an honor.
Right.
And I must just say, for those who don't know Poppie Nongena's real name, because we have met with her family last night,
yes.
Her name is Eunice Ntombizotumo Ntsata.
That's my middle name, Ntombizotumo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Eunice Ntombizotumo Ntsata.
Okay.
And I met with her two sisters last night, Unomonde and Ueni. And we also met her two daughters and her son.
Wow.
And the daughters' names are Nomthetho Ntsata, Nosipho Khoto, and Menzeki Ntsata. Menzeki was the young boy who was in the film playing Weekend.
From what I see from the ads, is he the one who's taking part in the student?
No. He was the younger one.
No, he would be much older. Yes.
He
Okay. Fair enough.
One.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So the film is set. The film is set in the 70s.
Yes.
It's against the backdrop of a very pained South Africa. Mm-hmm. We obviously know about the student uprisings. We know about the passbooks that people had to use. And just tell us a little bit about, without obviously any spoilers, because we're going to go and see it as it opens today, a little bit about the journey that Poppie takes.
The journey that Poppie takes is that Poppie is fighting for the system of the day to renew her work permit. So in the old pass system, there was a page whereby they had to stamp it to give her the work permit, and they're refusing to because she's married to this guy who comes from Transkei. And the government of the day decides that because they have already decided that the Buputatswanas, the Transkei's are homelands, Poppie will not get her work permit renewed. She has to go back to Transkei. And her battle is, I am not from Transkei.
Right.
I am from the Cape. And because my husband couldn't finish the contract because he fell ill, I am not prepared to go back. Just give me the work permit and let me work, even though I'm a woman.
So there are two stories here. There's that of the racial and very, it turns out, somewhat xenophobic behavior. There's a line in
I don't even want to go to the xenophobic issue, because for me that's another angle, and I don't believe that's xenophobia.
Meaning I was about to say there's a line in the movie where I think it's her madam says to her, or someone says to her, "You're an immigrant in your own country."
That's when she went to the Black Sash office.
Yes,
and they're trying to explain to her, because she's saying, "But why is the government doing this to us?"
Right.
And they're trying to explain to her that they make you feel like you are an immigrant in your own country.
Yes.
And they're trying to get rid of black women, fathers, mothers, and children out of South Africa.
So that the race argument is the one, the narrative. The other is patriarchy. That her life is being defined by her husband's identity. Does that come through quite strongly in the film?
It does come through.
Okay.
It does. Because that's why they are explaining to her that the reason that that your work permit is not renewed is because you are married to this guy that comes from Transkei.
And of course, these are both themes that continue to play out today. When you were playing Poppie, did you feel like, I've actually seen something like this recently or in my life, where I've watched somebody go through something, not obviously as harrowing because it's not necessarily legally driven, but by societal norms, people being pushed around by these expectations?
Yeah. What hurt me was not even the present moment. It's what our grandmothers, because I had a grandmother that was working in the kitchens. We have so many families where the grandchildren were really raised by their grandmothers, and Poppie had to go all out and sleep at her workplace just to put food on the table. Yes. There were so many family members who were going to bed without food because the mother had to do sleep-ins, and by the time the food is up, she's not even aware until she gets a message that there's no food anymore. And that's one of the things yesterday when we were speaking to the kids, to Poppie's family, it took them back, and it was just opening that can of worms.
Right.
It was so emotional, but I am so grateful to have met them.
Have they seen the film?
Yes, they
the
did.
Family. Okay, good.
They did last night.
Oh, that's right, of course. So tell me, what were their reactions to your portrayal of their mother and sister?
You know, I spoke to the son, and he said to me, "You portrayed my mother so well. I could see my mother."
Oh wow.
The eldest of the girls, of the ladies, they're already matured people, and she was saying she saw the trailer a few days ago, and she says when she saw it and she saw me in that church uniform, she says she jumped and she said, "That's my mother."
Wow.
It just brought back so many memories, and she said when she went to bed she couldn't sleep. She was just going through everything just came back like it was yesterday.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So going forward, I mean, I'm excited to see the film. Of course, you, as I say, have portrayed her so well. Is there anything else? Are you going to stay in touch with that family?
I will stay in touch with them. For me, it was so humbling to know that they are alive, they are there, they know what their mother went through. And you know what? I just said to them, this is in honor of your mother, because this torch that she has left, we are still holding on to it, because we have not yet reached that line. We're still going on, because we still have got Abo Mam Eunice, Abo Poppie Nongena, who are still waking up at 3 o'clock.
To this day.
To this day. We are still living in shacks.
And whose children are somewhere else with their mothers.
Yes.
And so, another parallel to the present day in terms of thematics. What would you like us to take out of this film mostly?
I would like people to what they have to take out of this movie is to understand what it means to be a mother. That mother that never gave up, irrespective of the challenges that she had. The love that never died, irrespective of the challenges. And also, they must revisit themselves. Today it's no more about the Poppie who's going into a white woman's home. It's also about a Poppie who's in a black woman's home.
That's right.
How deep do you go to understand who she is? How deep do you go to understand her journey, her sufferings? Are you meeting her at that point, at that line? Because we have that thing that they are working for me, and as long as my house is in order, do you even care if she's sick or not? Right. Do you even care if she's having a good life at home? Do you even care even to understand that the salary that you're giving her, it's stretching her right through the month, or does it just end up after 2 weeks and that is it?
And also in a whole different place.
Exactly.
Because there's so many people she's supporting.
Yeah. And also it's not about that. Just to talk to a person and make them feel important.
Right.
Yes.
Powerful words. Thank you so much, Clementine Mosimane. Very much looking forward to Poppie Nongena, which opens today at theatres. The Long Journey of Poppie Nongena is the Elsa Joubert's novel upon which this is based. But remember, this is a true story, expertly played to the extent that Poppie Nongena's own children just saw their mother in your performance. Thank you so much for joining us as our trailblazer on Breakfast.
Thank you, Refilwe.
Indeed.